Indexed Learning about life and its diversity, Unit number 1. First, what can we find in outer space? Second, telescope, Unit number 2. First, how did we start visiting outer space? Second, what have we learned? Unit number 1. Telescope. A scientific definition of the word telescope is an instrument that aids the observation of remote objects by collecting electromagnetic radiation. They found use in terrestrial applications and astronomy. Evolution. 1616. Italian priest and astronomer Niccolò Sacchi creates a concave spherical mirror, a mirror that bagels inwards, to magnify objects, and he used it to discover Jupiter's belt 14 years later. 1650. Inspired by Galileo's observations of Jupiter, Dutch astronomer Christian Huygens builds the most powerful telescope in history and uses it to view the planets in our solar system. 1673. Laurent Cassibrine, a Catholic priest from France, develops a telescope that bears his name, the Cassibrine telescope. This instrument uses mirrors that are called hyperbolic and parabolic mirrors. What can we find in outer space? Outer space is an explored arena where new and intriguing objects continue to be discovered every year and, despite so much progress, the only things humans can say for sure is that there is a vast amount of information they do not know about things in outer space. First, asteroids. Airless worlds that orbit our sun. They are remnants left over from the formation of our solar system, ranging in size from the length of a car to about as wide as a large city. Second, comets. Each comet has a center called a nucleus that contains icy chunks of frozen gases, along with bits of rock and dust. When a comet's orbit brings it close to the sun, the comet heats up and sweeps dust and gases, forming a giant goggly ball called a coma around its nucleus, along with two tails, one made of dust and the other of excited gas ions. Third, meteors fall through Earth's atmosphere at extremely high speeds. Most burn up completely before touching the ground. We often refer to them as shooting stars. Dwarf planets. Dwarf planets are defined by astronomers as bodies massive enough to be shaped by gravity into a round. In our solar system, dwarf planets are mostly found in the Kuiper belt beyond Neptune. Pluto is the best known example. The explorers. Unit number 2. How did we start visiting outer space? We human beings have been venturing into space since October 4th, 1957. When the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics launched Sputnik, the first artificial satellite to orbit the Earth. This happened during the period of political hostility between the Soviet Union and the United States, known as the Cold War. For several years, the two superpowers had been competing to develop missiles called intercontinental ballistic missiles to carry nuclear weapons between continents. Then, the first human in space was the Soviet cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin, who made one orbit around Earth on April 12, 1961, on a flight that lasted 108 minutes, a little more than 3 weeks later. NASA launched astronaut Alan Shepard into space, not on an orbital flight, but on a suborbital trajectory, a flight that goes into space but does not go all the way around Earth. Shepard's suborbital flight lasted just over 15 minutes. And finally, in 1969, on Apollo 11, the United States sent the first astronauts to the moon, and Neil Armstrong became the first human to set foot on its surface. During the landing missions, astronauts collected samples of rocks and lunar dust that scientists still study to learn about the moon. During the 1960s and 1970s, NASA also launched a series of space probes called Mariner, which studied Venus, Mars, and Mercury planets. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune.